When I see descendants of the Israelites doing the kind of things I've done for more than 2 decades, what I have devoted my life to doing, I become optimistic, I become hopeful, I become extremely happy. And even more so when I see them from the branches of the family of Israel that are not my own, because in my own case, I can badger them, I can force them, I can force the Ibiri people, I can force Okibiri to do everything they should do, but I cannot force an Ashkenazi. I cannot force a Sephardi. I cannot force a Mizrahi. I cannot force a better Israel because these groups don't even know me. They don't count me among them, even though I happen to be their older brother. But when I see them doing the right thing, when I see the African Americans who have Igbo ancestors, when I see the Caribbeans who have Igbo ancestors doing the right thing, I am happy. And on this basis, I bring to you the research, the presentation of one of the few Jews. He's of Ashkenazi background, but he has some Sephardic ancestry too. Mikha'el Meir Halevi. Mikha'el Meir Halevi. I want to bring to you his presentation, which I edited very moderately. And I will tell you the point that my own views came in. I'll read out what he wrote. Not everyone is lost. Stop trying to give roots back to people who already have them. The Aztecs and Maya were distinct Mesoamerican civilizations that developed in what is now Mexico and Central America. The Mayan civilization flourished from around 250 to 900 AD, particularly in southern Mexico, Guatemala, and northern Belize. The Aztec civilization, on the other hand, emerged later around the 14th century and dominated northern Mexico until the Spanish conquest in the early 16th century. Hispanics do not need to be from ancient Israel. They have ancient civilizations from pre-colonial time that have nothing to do with us, with the Israelites. Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island have nothing to do with us, that is the Israelites. And it is insulting to their actual tribal histories to suggest they are from ancient Israel. Here, a little comment from me is necessary. Stop saying that the Yoruba people were Israelites. They are not. They were not. They descended from the ancient Egyptians that enslaved the Hebrews. They descended from the Canaanites that the Hebrews lived beside. The people of the Turtle Island that Mikha'el referred to, according to Mikha'el, predate us by at least 10,000 years and do not need to be reunited with Israel. They've been where they are since the last ice age and before. Our culture goes back about 4,000 to 6,000 years, depending on your definition. Not all African Americans are descendants of the Israelites. Plenty are. Plenty of them are. And very prominent African Americans have come out to talk about this. T.D. Jakes has talked about his Igbo ancestry. We have African Americans who talk very proudly, and they should be proud too of their descent from the Yoruba, the Sierra Leoneans, By the way, you have some people that descended from the Igbos in Sierra Leone, but we have African Americans who descended from the Yoruba, from the Fulani, from the Hausa, and they are not Israelites. But plenty of African Americans and Caribbeans Israelites, no doubt about that, as clear as day. The entire melanated population, I'm reading from Mikha'el, of the Americas and else, everywhere else, we are not Israelites. They have their own equally valuable ethno-history. We, the Israelites in this case, are not kings and queens of Egypt. We have nothing to do with Kemet except our enslavement in Kemet. The Israelites' connection to Kemet in ancient times was strictly limited to our enslavement there, and as a passageway, as an entry point into Africa, or what became Africa. We are the Israelite ethno people. Then this very noble gentleman that I send prayers every day to the Lord Chukwu to keep alive, one of the few Jews who have made up their minds to know about the Igbos, he continued, we are 12 tribes and mixed multitudes. And he began to list them, starting from the largest and the one that retained the oldest strands of the culture of the Israelites. He called them Igbo Israelites. He mentioned the next branch, Beta Israel, that is the Ethiopian Jews. I don't know why he placed them second, probably because their own culture of Israel seems to be older than the traditions of the other branches I will mention hereafter. He mentions the Karaites. The Karaites broke off from Jews. He mentions the Samaritans. The Samaritans are, at the maximum, our first cousins. Then he mentioned the second largest body of Israelites, the Ashkenazim. He mentioned the Sephardim. He mentioned the Mizrahim, and closed the list. And I agree completely with him. Why do I agree with him? I believe that ancestry can only validly be connections to people that existed 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, can only be proved validly with a disciplined study of history, culture, religion, and in our own case, Omenana. Omenana is the culture of the Israelites of the Bible. These groups mentioned here, you would find traditions they respect even today in total alignment with Omenana. By the way, because majority of us do not know the Igbo language, the language called Igbo today, I want to translate what Omenana means. Omenana means religion and culture you will do in the land. Every Igbo in the world today knows that the traditional religion of the Igbo people is called Omenana, but 99% of the people do not know what the term, the phrase is saying. That is why you see even people who ought to know better saying that the Omenana of groups that do not come from Israel. For example, you have had Igbo saying the Omenana and the Hausa, the Omenana and the Yoruba, the Omenana and the Fulani. No, the Yoruba, the Fulani, the Bantu, the Ashanti, the Japanese, the English religions and cultures cannot be called Omenana. Omenana is not a generic term for religion and culture. Omenana is the proper name for the religion of Moses, the religion of Isaac, the religion of David. That's what Omenana is. And the Igbo Israelites, the Beta Israel, the Karaites, the Samaritans, the Ashkenazim, the Sephardim, the Mizrakim. If you are to look at the religion and cultures they observe today, you would find that their ancestors lived by Omenana. All these groups I mentioned will think that somebody has committed abomination if he hung himself, and they will not mourn the person. Go to Josephus. The ancient Hebrews mourned Josephus because of abomination. Or let me give the exact story of why they mourned Josephus, and you will see another very virile connection. These groups I mentioned here would mourn someone who committed an abomination alive while the person is still living. They will mourn that person. Josephus was mourned when he went over to the Romans because he had committed that is abomination. Why does work of people like Mikha'el give me joy? I know for a verity that God is going to heal mankind, whether mankind likes it or not, but that redemption of man will come quicker when humanity sees the truth, goes back to the truth, and begins to live by the truth. And I say this not because I happen to come from one of the families of Israel. God gave the ancestors of the Israelites the truth. If the Israelites become one people, understand their religion and culture again, and begin to practice them, this redemption of mankind will come quicker. So, when Mikha'el listed the Israelites, placing the Igbos in their midst, he did something that the parliament of the state of Israel, they call the building Knesset. The leaders of the state of Israel, he did something that Mikha'el did something they should be leading his propagation. Because that redemption, if humanity is to participate in it, if the people of Israel is to participate in bringing that redemption about, if it will take 1,000 years, it will take 100 years if Igbos are not excluded. You cannot do Urion without this. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. This is where you get the information that you do not find anywhere else in the world. Have a fruitful day. Shalom, Dalo. Thank you.